you already understand that the member of parliament is supposed to be your shield?
Yeah.
That before the president gets to you, before he gets to your business, to tax you as heavily as he has taxed you today, he ought to have found this buffer. He ought to have fought with this buffer completely, a whole fight, until he gives up. That is what we want to put in our citizens. That we are where we are as a country because you gave very bad quality of persons who are supposed to be your defenders to go and defend you. Some people even voted for somebody who cannot speak. They has never uttered a word in parliament. And I asked them, so how does this person defend you? How does this person defend you? Because parliament is about that. And when you see people saying that he gave us 1,000 shillings, I almost want to tell them, when your child is out of school, can you go and collect that, go back to where you kept that 1,000, retrieve it, go and pay. Do not sell your conscience. We have suffered as a country for, now this is the 4th year going. And when you walk amongst people, and you walk amongst people, you can feel it. You can feel it. Yep. I walk in the streets of Kasarani, Choka, Ouko, and you're meeting children. Can you believe in one street of about 200 meters, you will meet 5 children who are out of school? 200 meters, that one Soko street.
But because
you
they're
will
unable
meet 5
to
children.
Afford,
When you ask what is the problem, this one aliambiwa uniform, aliambiwa alete kiti. Do you know that for you to access a public primary school in Nairobi, you have to go with a desk?
Yes.
As if the ones who exited class 8 went with a desk. They did not go with the desks. And guess what? You will be told it is not a physical desk that you want to come with. A desk is 5,000. So bring in 5,000. Not a problem. But I am saying the heads of schools also are operating within certain difficulties. But it is the Ministry of Education that is the regulator of policy. Why has the ministry opened parents to so much suffering? Some heads are running public institutions as if they were private institutions. And who suffers? It is those children that I am meeting on the streets. Because when you tell a parent, go and come with 5,000 shillings, go and buy uniform, you're supposed to bring this book, and then every day you come with 50 shillings, you come with, and all that. That is how you are meeting children on the streets. And let me tell you, it is not okay. It is not fair. It is not fair. Policy dictates that if the government is telling us that we are implementing 100% transition, when you're transiting to junior, secondary school, for example, that has now become another junction. And the writers of CBC had not, this is not what they had anticipated. It was supposed to further 100% transition. But when we created another junction there, where now you're supposed to transition to a different place and you have a complete set of brand new uniform. And I say, Kenyans are very interesting. Look at international schools. They coexist all the way from the early years, all the way to senior school in one piece of uniform. Why do poor people complicate things like this? Why do we like complicating things like this? Why? It is because we have to sustain certain businesses within the school. It is someone's business. So who has failed parents in that particular context? It is the government. Because the government is not regulating the sector as it is supposed to regulate the sector. Why isn't the government regulating the sector? Because the government has failed in its duties. So to quote support from these people is, you support me, you keep quiet on the areas that I am weak, and I will also keep quiet when you're doing a few things.
At the expense of the nation's children.
That is
That's
how
what
children,
you're talking
that
about.
is how children are out of school. Otherwise, what explanation does the Ministry of Education have to drop access levels to the levels that access levels have dropped at current? Why am I meeting children? And I have threatened that I am going to carry children. I have called them and I have a list of them here. I will give evidence in Jogo House that you guys are walking around this country lying to people that children are in school. These ones are not in school. Let us stop the lies. Let us activate the sector that we knew, where we could see a CS walking around, going to schools. CSs would walk in schools and head teachers' campus. Why? Because of faithfulness and fidelity to policies that the Ministry of Education has set. But at current, a policy of the ministry is just another paper It's an extra paper. This is evidence, which I am taking to the minister right after this show. I am taking to the minister. I want the minister to explain to me, why did you release a policy saying 53,000? This is your school charging 110. This is another one charging 110. I've read you from Lenana School. I've read for you from Limuru Girls is at 83. Why an 83 minus the 10 that and the 16?
Yeah.
So it's coming to about 96.
96.
96,000 thereabout. In fact, it's 100. It's 100. It's 100,000.
Yes.
So we can say that C1 schools are now charging an average of 100,000.
And you can't tell me that the ministry is unaware, or can you?
The Ministry of Education has got directors of education all the way to every county and even every sub-county. And these fee structures, from what I know and from practice from other, CSAs that I have seen, are approved by the sub-county directors of education. So the sub-county director of education is acting on whose behalf? Is acting on the behalf of a minister. So if the minister is not aware of this, I do not know that he's not aware. I do not know if he's not aware because he does not want to know or because he doesn't do his job. But what we are saying is that we are not going to sit back and watch the sector going the direction that it is going. Certain people must rise up. Certain people must rise up and defend the children. And let me remind parents, these children are suffering today because of your decisions. And we are now going to another decision moment. Please make good decisions for your children. They will not be there to queue to get that 200 shillings, to get that 500 shillings. Please do not sell their future because of a 500 shillings or because of 1,000 shillings. It is not nice.
In terms of responsibility, we're just going to go to a break in a bit. But in terms of responsibility, here we are, and as we just list down some of these things, but that you say that there's a direct relation between who you put into these positions of leadership at every level, from your wards to your member of parliament to your governor, senator, woman rep, all the way to president. Who you put in these positions then really does matter. And if you can't make the connection between what you're seeing today and where we are tomorrow, then perhaps there is more than a problem than we're able to then recognize. But then when we look at the overall quality of education that's being delivered with all of these challenges that are in at the moment, is it fixable with just a change of leadership, or does it need an entire system overhaul?
There are so many problems in education, so many, that we actually need an overdose. And we need an overdose of, I have said it severally, tone at the top. Tone at the top. Because what is messing education here is that we have the wrong tone at the top.
Yes.
That is what is ailing education. I want to give you an example of tone at the top and the problems that can portend. I sat here in this show when Nancy Macharia was exiting the Teacher Service Commission. And I predicted that, watch guys, that the Teacher Service Commission is the next thing that William Ruto has his eyes on.
For what purpose, Janet?
For putting a person that can be able to play ball. I am vindicated. Because today, as we speak, we all know who the CEO for TSC is. We all know what has happened to the process. We all know that the process was manipulated to end up with a certain person as the CEO of the Teacher Service Commission. Now, this has a lot of relationship with all the problems that you're seeing teachers having. Because this is somebody who is now a phone call. This SHA, you hear teachers complaining about SHA and SHE. Their unions cannot do anything.
No.
Because if they try and go against that, TSC is under CAG. It will just be told, do to KNUT like you did the Sosion Times. The deductions and all that. No union no union wants to go through that. And that's why you're seeing, for the first time in the history of KNUT and KUPPET, the union leaders are speaking this language and their members are speaking a different language. Mind you, the elections were barely concluded like a month ago. So you were expecting that this is